What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside the D, episode 10. It's been about a month since we've had our last podcast out. It's been a while, but we're finally back. There's a new face joining us today. His name is Luke. He's one of our classmates. He's going to be filling in for Parker at the moment. Luke, tell us a bit about yourself.
My name's Luke. I'm an Arsenal fan, avid Arsenal supporter to say the least. I play soccer, and I've known these fools for quite some time.
Well, that's Luke. We decided to cut down on the Chelsea bias. So now we have an Arsenal fan, so it's a bit more even. So there will be no more Chelsea rants with me and Parker, at least in this podcast. In future episodes, probably. So we're just going to get things started right off the bat. We're going to talk about managers. Who are the ones that are impressing you? Who are the ones that you think are going to lose their job? Who are some names that stand out to you guys?
I mean, I think honestly, probably the most, the manager that's being looked at the most right now is Zinedine Zidane. I mean, look, he's been a great coach over the years. He obviously was a great player as well, but this past year he's not done so well. Like, look, they have only played 8 games plus Champions League, which were very poor games, but they're fourth place right now, which is, when's the last time you thought you'd see Real Madrid in fourth place? They're not performing that well in their Champions League group stage. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they moved on finally from Zidane.
I mean, Does that make sense?
I think it does. Right now, I don't think that Real Madrid want to be contending for Europa League as one of the biggest clubs in the world. It doesn't make sense for, like the players that they have. I mean, that should be easily one of the best teams in at least Spain, if not the world. I mean, also when you look at what Barcelona's lost this year, I mean, they've lost, quite a lot, and they're not doing so good either. So I also think that Ronald Koeman needs to be looked at as one of the other managers that maybe isn't doing as well as he should, and they're looking to let Messi go. Well, and Messi wants to get out, which isn't going to help Barcelona at all. So I think that for sure Koeman needs to be looked at.
Yeah, it's the top 2 teams in Spain. Top 2 not currently, but in the last, let's say, 10 years or even more. Barcelona, Madrid. I mean, Zinedine Zidane, like you said, he won many Champions League trophies as a manager with Madrid, and he won one with them as a player as well. But they might play in the Europa League this season if they finish third in their group in the Champions League, which it looks like it could be possible. I mean, there's still 3 more games to play. You never know, they could kick it up and win some more games, but it's not looking good for them. And I would not be surprised if they sacked Zinedine Zidane, because it's a club where you need to always have a top manager, and it's okay. You can get fired after 1 year, 2 years. It doesn't matter. I think it's probably his time to go. And then, like you said, Barcelona, Koeman, it's his first year already, and he's already doing very poorly. I wouldn't say it's 100% his fault, but I wouldn't be surprised if they parted ways with him as well. I want to talk about Pochettino. Right, was fired from Spurs. He's been with them for a very long time. Right now, he's unemployed. Where's he going to go now?
In my opinion, Spain makes sense. He could really go to one of those 2 teams. And especially coming from an Arsenal fan, and I'll try to say this as unbiased as I can, which is going to be a little challenging. But Spurs had a very strong team while he was still their manager. He had one of the best strikers in the league, a very strong winger, and frankly, a pretty strong defense and pretty strong mids. And he had no excuses for not winning any trophies, which is exactly what Spurs have needed. And this kind of new era Spurs has been, to put it pretty straightforward, they've been amazing this new season. They're fantastic now.
Absolutely.
So I think Pochettino just wasn't fitting well in the Premier League. In Spain or maybe a league like Germany would make sense for him.
So go ahead.
Another manager who's up for grabs, who I personally hate, but he's not a bad manager. Maurizio Sarri got sacked from Juventus. Could we see Pochettino and Sarri filling the roles of Koeman and Zidane, or do you think that's unlikely?
To me, unlikely. I think Maurizio Sarri, I mean, I was happy with him at Chelsea for the one season he was with us. I mean, he brought us the Europa League and brought us a third place finish. I think the only reason why we fired Sarri is because he wanted to go back to Italy, and we were going to bring in Frank Lampard. You know, it was going to happen. I do think that Sarri will need to stay in Italy to succeed. Again, I know he had a good season with Chelsea. It was only 1 year. I think he will really succeed as a manager in Italy. So I don't think I would want him to go to Spain to fill in for either Zidane or Koeman. I think he should stay in Italy. However, Pochettino at Madrid, I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, for sure. But Sarri's tactics just simply couldn't withstand the pressure that the Prem put on him. It's just too slow compared to like the press of other teams in the Prem. It for sure suits the Italian game a lot more, where it's a lot calmer, keep possession, take your shots when you can get them, compared to go.
Right. Luke the tactic man over here.
Always.
Yeah.
I think another manager who could be on the hot seat right now is Pirlo.
Really?
One's a great AC Milan player. I love him. But he has not started off great at Juventus. He only has 3 wins, 4 draws, no losses. But, when's the last time you've seen Juventus in a Europa League spot in the standings? I mean, they've blown away everybody in this area for the past decade or longer. I mean,
around that, yeah.
Look, it is his first season, his first time ever being a coach. So, maybe they're giving him a bit of leeway, but that's not great for Juventus. I'm happy because AC Milan's still holding on to the first place spot. But
Okay, what about, because I was thinking Pochettino. I actually, before you mentioned it, I wasn't really thinking that Pochettino would be a good fit for Madrid or Barcelona. Now I agree, but I was thinking Pochettino could actually stay in the Prem and take over Ole if he gets
I don't
think
know.
Ole's ever getting away.
Yeah. Right now, the way that they're playing, I mean, Bruno's fantastic.
He is fantastic.
And Rashford's fantastic. They just don't have a reason to get rid of him right now.
I mean, they got games though.
Man United only plays good when Ole's job is, at stake.
Right.
That's the joke.
But
I mean, it works. Last season, he was on the hot seat, and they just started playing incredible after Corona. And they got up to 3rd this season. Again, not having a great start, but once he gets onto the hot seat again, they could keep it up. They could bring it up.
What I don't think people realize also is, again, we're only 8-9 games in the season. Last year, United was in 14th place, 7 or 8 games in. So they're in a similar position. Like you said, they finished 3rd place. So I don't think United fans should lose hope yet, but I don't know. I don't think United likes to be in that position in the first place. It might not be a repeat of what happened last year. So I would not be surprised at all if Ole gets sacked.
Well, yeah. And for sure, with looking just like at the Prem table, I mean, it's got to be one of the craziest ever. I mean, kind of anything can happen right now. I mean,
Southampton,
Liverpool lost 7-2. Like
Aston Villa.
Realistically, like they're one of the best teams in the world, losing to what is normally a bottom table Prem team is ridiculous. So I feel like the Prem is just going to have to be kind of a game of longevity. Teams are just going to have to do well or do consistently well throughout the whole season, which as an Arsenal fan, I don't like to hear that. But I guess it just kind of is what it is, because we've seen Liverpool doing very well, scoring lots of goals, and then losing 7-2, which threatens all different kinds of teams and gives teams like Southampton and Aston Villa a really good opportunity to get in the top half, get into Europa League maybe.
Which would be insane, by the way, saying Aston Villa stay in or go into the Europa League. Do you think Jack Grealish would stay at Aston Villa if they made Europa League, or is he still going to try and move out to a bigger club?
I'm already seeing reports that Manchester United is going to go after him, and they said they're open to it. So he's one of if not their top player right now.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Ollie Watkins, I think, are their top players. And
English Messi. Ross Barkley, come on, gotta give him credit.
He was fantastic against Arsenal.
He's been good. But if they sell Grealish, they're obviously not going to be as good. I think if they really want to push for Europa League, even possibly Champions League, they need to keep the team where it is, and in the January transfer window, add instead of take away from their team.
Do they have budget?
No, I think that's the problem. They spent it all on Ollie Watkins.
Which is a good signing.
Was that? Oh, that was this summer.
It was.
Fantastic signing from Brentford.
Yeah, but if they're in like if they stay in like a 6th place spot, maybe 7th place, I think in the January transfer window we could see some more money being given to them to push to get into the Europa League, because you're so close and you just need a couple more players.
So you think the owners will try and put some more money in?
Yeah.
If they're in a position to get into Europa or Champions League, I think they'll push.
Right. Which very likely we could see them in that position.
Yeah, well, yeah. If they keep playing as consistent as they do, they'll for sure get a little bit of a cash injection.
I mean,
Help
it's
their
already
defense out.
Yeah, I mean, it's already crazy to when your team plays Aston Villa, you see them on the schedule and you're actually a bit worried.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, well, and then your team
relegation.
plays Manchester City, and you're like, meh.
Yeah, Manchester City
Because
fine.
Manchester City's a mid-table team right now.
Exactly, Aston Villa is. I mean,
Which
they
is
were
ridiculous.
They saved themselves from relegation on the final day last year. And again, it's only been 8 games, but they are playing very well, and it's scary. However, Ico would know, last week, or last podcast about a month ago, we talked about the scary good form of Everton. What's been happening with them?
Slowed down.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep it up. Also, some people could say it's because James has been injured, whatever. But still, I mean, he's one player on your team. You should be able to keep the form. And I'm honestly very disappointed. I love watching Everton. I love the team that they were able to build. I mean, obviously they're not doing horrible, but it's slowed. For Everton, they're doing good, but it's slowed down from what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing like regular Everton, not the Everton we saw in the beginning of the season. Yeah. Luke said that, you think James is a bit overrated, right?
Yeah, personally. But people look at him as a world-class player, but I think now that he's been injured and you see that this kind of like decline of Everton, I can for sure see the other side. I still feel like he is
bit overrated.
And I feel like he's valued more than what he should be. He's for sure a great player, but with the amount of world-class midfielders that Everton have not only signed this summer but have already had, it shouldn't be a problem for them to maintain form, which is kind of something that we've seen throughout this season with, and we saw this at the end of last season with big players getting injured and teams struggling, just like Manchester City without Aguero are struggling to score, which we've seen a lot.
Yeah, I mean, injuries can ruin a whole season for a team. I just don't think James Rodriguez's injury should, make Everton play worse. I think that you're right. He is a key player, but it's not going to change the whole dynamic of the team. I mean, they've got Calvert-Lewin who's bagging goals in every weekend, or was. I still think that Everton should be performing better, and I don't want to blame it on the injury of James Rodriguez entirely.
Luke, you want to turn on your lights real quick?
I was about to do that.
I was about to say that. Guys, we're doing a little bit of an intermission, so Luke can turn on.
That's a lot better.
There
we go.
My grandpa watches the podcast, and Parker would always have it dark in the background, and
You're right.
rat him out and be like, "You got to turn your lights on."
I think that we should talk about Manchester City, especially coming from the conversation we were having about managers being threatened. Pep, there's no other way to say it. They're lacking right now. They can't score goals. They're getting scored on too easily. They're lacking. They're supposed to be a Premier League champion contending team, and right now, by the looks of it, they're not. It's that simple.
What does Pep Guardiola need to do to keep his job at Man City?
Well, in my opinion, over the summer, or not summer, over winter transfer market, he needs a striker. Because Jesus is injured regularly, and I don't think he can't fill the shoes of as prolific of a goal scorer as Aguero is.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
And I mean, if there was ever a season for Man City, you know, obviously they've done it before, but for them to win, it would be this year, because obviously there's some teams that have blown us away by like being good because they're not usually good, but nobody really has been stunning. And honestly, I feel like this would have been their year to win it all.
I still think they could. They only have one loss this season. They have a couple of draws. I still think they can, but if Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, if they win the league this year, I still don't think that's enough for Pep to keep his job. I think he needs to do well in European competitions such as the Champions League. He's got to at least get to the semifinal or final with this squad. I mean, come on.
Yeah, one of the best squads in European soccer.
I mean, in the
easily.
world, right? Yeah. I mean, they've got the most talented players in the world, and they couldn't beat Lyon.
But Lyon, European Cup Lyon is different.
It's
last season.
But match player to player.
Yeah, no,
Lyon was
sure.
a better team with City with a great lineup of players.
Yeah.
I think Pep needs to use the depth of his team more as well, because obviously on the bench they have like world-class talents. They have great players. I think he needs to start playing them more instead of, you know, obviously he fills in a couple new players each game, but I feel like we should see, you know, more depth being used, more subs. He was complaining about the Premier League not having 5 subs, but I saw like not once this season has he used all 3 of his subs. Right. Like he complains about it, but he doesn't really do anything to use the depth that he has.
He needs to stop fooling around with positions. I mean, he loves playing players out of position, and like for example, Bernardo Silva gets played out of position all the time, and I just feel like he's such an amazing player, but you don't use him the right way, so he can't, you know, play as well as you'd expect him to play. I just think Pep Guardiola needs to play his players in the right positions, and you'll see results. I mean, he messes around with subs all the time, last season as well.
Yeah, well, and we saw De Bruyne getting put out at right wing, which I think is ridiculous, as he's, I mean, in my opinion, the best mid or center attacking mid in the world.
I think so.
Also, something I don't get about Pep is he's got a player. Wait a minute, I forgot his name.
Foden?
Foden. Okay. Something I don't get about Pep, he's got a player like
keeping that in.
Got a player like Ferran Torres, who he's played a couple matches. He's played really well, but he's still not using him as much as he should be. I mean, Ferran Torres is young. He's got the ability to be great. I don't know why he's not starting, because every time he plays, he produces at least a goal or an assist, some sort of contribution.
Well, you can't start him over, in my opinion, you can't start him over Raheem Sterling.
No, Mahrez.
He
plays on the right.
Yeah, he over Mahrez or Bernardo.
Yeah,
which
Does Sterling play on the left?
I would start it. Yeah, Sterling plays on the left.
I don't know why I didn't know that. But Mahrez gets benched a lot too.
Yeah.
I would start Mahrez over Ferran.
Yeah. I think the thing with Pep is the thing with Pep is he's very picky. As we've kind of seen, you know, he signs these big name players like Mahrez, you know, right after they've had breakout season of their life, and then benches them.
Yeah.
and I think it could be looked at as two ways, as either, you know, kill the competition, or it could be looked at as, you know, this is exactly what I need, and then, oh, it's not what I wanted. You know, kind of like he really wanted a left-footed center back, which he ended up getting out of Ake.
Right.
But he went through, you know, Eric Garcia. He went through Laporte. He went through Otamendi.
They just signed Ruben Diaz, right?
Yeah, those are world class. Yeah. I mean, he's spent, what was the stat? He spent so much money on defenders.
I think it was like $500,000. No.
Yeah. Well, and on wingbacks, he brought in Danilo. He brought in Cancelo.
Oh, sorry.
Like, he spends a lot of money and benches players.
It's ridiculous. And, I mean, he literally took a player who's been at Man City for a while in Fernandinho and said, hey, you know what? I know you've played CDM your whole career. Why don't I stick you at center back? Because I don't have – it's not like I have Otamendi or Laporte or, you know, Ake or Diaz. Like, come on. Like, Stones.
No, Laporte's always in the back line, and then he kind of switches out the
Laporte was
other
also
guy
injured
who plays
for.
with
Yeah,
him.
he was injured for a
Yeah.
while too.
What happened to
No,
Joe?
but so
He was
he
injured, I
rides the
believe,
bench.
and then nothing now, and he just got
He gets
replaced.
ruined
But-
by Man City.
I mean, also about Fernandinho, they also brought in Rodri, who I would start over Fernandinho, and maybe that was a move to try and get Fernandinho still in the lineup because he played a crucial part. So he said, you know what, why don't I move you to defender?
I like Rodri at CDM. I really do.
I don't love him.
I do like him.
No,
at CDM.
I like him a lot at CDM.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't put him in, especially if you have such a deep.
No, I'm saying the reason he put Fernandinho in the back line was because of Rodri.
Yeah.
I see.
Filled
Rodri
his
played
spot at
games
CDM.
Center back. I guess he just liked Fernandinho better at center back, which would make sense. He's a good center back, decent.
Great center back, actually. Kind of
Yeah,
did
but-
do a good job filling company's shoes, actually, like when he needed to.
I'm not gonna say that.
No, but why are you playing?
Man?
Why are you playing an old? No offense, but Fernandinho's a bit older. He's a bit slower now. You got Ake to play. You got Diaz. He's buying all these players, but he's still picking the guys who've been doing it for the past 5 years over them. Like,
Is it a leadership and because they're more comfortable in the lineup?
but why
Really?
go out and buy those players?
Because Ruben Diaz, he just needs more time to adjust. I mean, he'll get a little bit of playing time, maybe play him in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, but he needs time to adjust. I mean, he's coming from the Liga NOS in Portugal, great league, but it's not.
Big
It's no
switch.
Premier League. Ake, he's been playing. I mean, he's been playing in the Premier League, but he's been playing with Bournemouth. I mean, he just needs time to adjust. Fernandinho's been playing in this squad under this manager, so he's very comfortable with the tactics and the way that they play.
He's picky.
He is
I think that's just what it
picky.
comes down to. He knows exactly what he wants, and if he doesn't get that, you're on the bench.
That's right.
Like that's kind of what we've seen with Gundogan. He really did turn Gundogan from like a meh player into like one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah, but recently he hasn't really been playing that
Oh,
much.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I'm picking my top 10 center mids, I don't know if I'm going to put.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm.
But
gonna-
for what he does for City, he provides the like from because De Bruyne goes he gets so high in the game and their CDM drops so low. Like Gundogan kind of just controls the whole
Levels it,
space
yeah.
in between. Yeah.
I see that. Well, listen, why don't we take a break from talking about some players? And this is going to be Ico's favorite part of the podcast. We're going to talk about the most informed teams in the world. And I'm just going to start off and let Ico go on his little adventure here. AC Milan.
Look at that, making his day.
Well, I wish I could sit here and say we're on a 25-game unbeaten streak, but sadly that came to an end last week when we lost to Lille. But that was our first loss since the restart. I'm very happy with what's happening right now. Obviously you see everything about.
So I guess we're going to stop talking about AC Milan. That's all right. That's a perfect timing.
Zlatan
Thanks.
Ibrahimovic.
Oh, he's here.
Jeez, what happened? What
Oh,
happened?
I mean, I think your Wi-Fi decided that they didn't want to hear you talk about AC Milan.
Yeah. Wi-Fi said no more AC Milan. Let's talk
Yeah.
about Southampton.
Yep. All right. So
Come
Ico, go
on.
ahead. AC Milan. Why don't you
No.
start over here?
We're still what 24-1 since the restart. I'm happy with that. It's looking like we have the old 2011 2010 team back. Obviously we're not there yet, but as it looks right now we're unbeaten in the Serie A so far this season. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is playing incredible. I mean, he's absolutely turned back the clock. I'm happy with our youngsters getting involved more. I think we have a great midfield. I honestly think with the depth we have in the midfield and attacking, we could honestly keep up this form for a while.
I'm glad you didn't say win the Serie A. I would have.
Yeah.
No,
I was
we're
gonna
winning the
question
Serie A.
that.
No, we're winning it.
Oh,
Tell me who's going
James-
to beat us.
I
Marcus
think
Morris.
I for sure think that people when they look at AC Milan, they kind of forget how young of a team you guys like really have. Like your team is set up for the future. Like
No, I mean,
obviously
you take away.
you guys are
It's
playing
like-
ridiculous, but like if you can keep going at a somewhat steady rate compared to what you guys have been doing, I mean, you guys are going to be top 4 for the next however many years, signing young players.
Yeah, no. Besides like two outliers who are like backups or third in the depth charts. I think our average age for the team was like 21 or 22, which I mean, you love to see that since we're playing so good with such a young team.
Because you're getting out of the whole retirement home outlook that everyone has on you. You know, you've won all these Champions Leagues and then you've just gone downhill. I mean, that's what happens to big teams in history. It happens, you know, and vice versa. Man City, you know, they were in the championship in 1999, and here they are, one of the best teams in the league. So it happens. You guys we're on the decline, but you can kind of get the sense, and I think you've been able to get the sense for the past year or two, that you're sort of climbing back up, which must be a very refreshing thought for you and other AC Milan.
This is an absolutely historic moment. Aiden's never said that AC Milan's climbing. He's never admitted to us.
Okay.
I'll never.
You'll never hear it again, too. You'll never hear it again.
Finally admitted it.
I have to. I told Ico I would be unbiased, and here I am. It hurts me to say it because he's never going to let this go, but AC Milan are playing well. But they won't win the league, so don't worry, guys. Okay.
Juve's coming. They're coming.
By the way, speaking of unbeaten teams, since you guys think you're special, you're not the only unbeaten team in the Serie A. Juventus, of course, but Sassuolo. Let's go. They're going to win the league. Right, Ico?
I mean, first of all, they faced nobody except Napoli.
Who are also doing well, by the way. Just shout out to Gattuso for picking things up for Napoli.
Sometimes it's maybe good.
I mean, yeah.
You've never seen that quote?
What do you say?
He goes, sometimes it's maybe good, sometimes it's maybe shit.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
He's like talking about the refs. Oh, such a good quote.
Typical Gattuso.
No, but you know, speaking of Napoli, I think I personally don't like them, but I think they're doing pretty well right now. And I know in the January transfer window, or at least at the end of the year, they're planning on signing one of the top Ligue 1 players right now, Florian Thauvin, who's playing great there. And AC Milan was actually we had a deal with him. We had it set up. We were gonna buy him in the January transfer window for like $6 million. And all of a sudden, Napoli, as they like to do, like what they did with Bakayoko this summer, decided to take our player and paid him more, convinced him to go to them. But, you know, it happens. Well, but, you know, if they add this player, they could, you know, compete with us for first place.
Two things.
Oh, geez.
Number one, don't say Bakayoko is our player. Okay, he's a Chelsea player who we lent to you guys and now are lending to Napoli.
No. But we had a deal. We were gonna get him 100%. And Napoli, because Gattuso is, you know, he coached Bakayoko with AC Milan. Yeah. He loved him. You know, you can't blame him for going to take him. He performed well in Serie A, but you know, this is now the second player he's trying to take from us.
I think that if I'm Bakayoko and I'm Thauvin, I want to play for a winner. So I'd go to Napoli. You know?
I mean, okay, we're undefeated in Serie A. They lost.
That's tough.
Nah. Since the restart, we're undefeated in Serie A.
Well,
let's see how long that's gonna stay.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Hey, clip this, and when we win the title, we'll see.
Let's come back in 2 weeks. Watch that clip.
5 minutes ago, I'm clipping you saying that you guys are gonna win the league.
We are.
All right. Well, listen, that's enough AC Milan talk for the day. Southampton.
Oh my goodness. So good. James Ward-Prowse.
Best free kick.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Amazing. So good. Yeah, what do you have? 2 free kicks in that one game?
They were beautiful.
Amazing. By the way, little shout out to our podcast name, but no, all jokes aside, when Ward-Prowse and the ball is inside the D and he has a free kick, it's going in every time. It's going in every time. He is the most underrated free kick taker, I think, in the world. Like, you wouldn't expect
behind Çalhanoğlu.
Maybe also behind Lionel Messi, but okay.
Oh my goodness!
I for sure think that they're a contender this year.
You think for what?
For at least top half. I mean, well, where'd they finish last year? For sure, bottom half of the table.
Google that right now, actually.
But I mean, they're for sure going up at least a few spots. I mean, we have no clue what's going to happen in Prem this year. Just it's been so crazy, but. They're doing well. They're doing really well.
Yes, they finished 11th place last year, by the way.
Okay.
Another team I know Aidan hates, but a very dominant team right now in Europe, Tottenham. They are performing great.
Chelsea Arsenal fans,
Yeah.
We can agree on one thing in this world, and that's Tottenham.
Tottenham sucks. Yeah.
Well, they're
And
outperforming both
Oliver,
you guys this year.
Olivier Giroud is beautiful.
That's another thing we can agree on. Those two
Yeah.
things, that's it. That's it.
Well, you know, those are the really hot teams right now in Europe. What about some cold ones? One
Chelsea's
personally
not a cold
that
team.
I'm not. No, don't worry. Another one, you know, saying Chelsea's cold would hurt Parker, but another team saying they're cold, Sheffield United. I mean, they were at the
Man.
start of last year, you know, until halfway through, they were looking like they were, you know, a 5 to 7 team. They ended the season mid-table, and then this year they come out and they've gotten one draw in 8 games.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they have like 3 goals this whole
Yeah,
season.
it's Fulham, by the
2 or
way.
3
the draw.
goals.
It's against Fulham.
no, and it's you know, it's sad because, you know, Parker started loving them and now they're bad. Parker started loving Chelsea and, you know, this season they're bad. You know all I'm saying.
Hold on a second.
He didn't like that one. That one's not appreciated.
Wait a minute.
No, but for sure. I think that losing Dean Henderson changed everything
Yes.
for them, because he was just fantastic last year. Like there's no other way to put it. He was amazing.
Unbelievable. And now he goes back
Now
to
he's
United.
sitting on the bench.
Well, he's only playing in Carabao and FA Cup. You know.
And I'd like to chime in that when Leno got injured last year, Martinez stepped up and he's doing amazing for Villa now.
Now he's on Villa. Is it sad for you to see like serious question?
No,
Is it sad for you to see
no.
Martinez?
I think it's great for him. He
Gotta
was
be
at
happy.
Arsenal for like 8 years.
Yeah.
He needed to move on, and not like he was getting a start over at Leno.
Yeah, but
Right.
you know, it's sad to see this because you said he was at Arsenal 8 years, backed up the entire time, and he finally gets to start, and he's so good. Like, imagine if he was that good 8 years ago. He could have been, obviously not one of the greatest, but he could have been a great
Pretty
goalie
good. Yeah.
in the Premier League. But you know, you could say that these 8 years, maybe he wasn't that good. He developed, you know, being better. But the one thing I don't understand was like you said, Manchester United having Dean Henderson on the bench. I mean, they could have unloaded him this season to maybe get enough money to be able to buy Sancho. I mean, why would you?
Yeah, that's exactly.
He's
what they
a
should have
great
done.
goalie, and you're just going to use him in the Carabao Cup. I mean, what's the point of that?
It's disrespectful.
He's not loving that either. I mean, imagine starting every single game, being one of the front runners for, you know, best goalie in the Premier League in the first season, Sheffield back in the Premier League, right? And now you're going back to your parent club, which is a bigger club than Sheffield, but you're not going to play. You know you're not going to start over David De Gea, at least not yet.
Well, and he's on his downfall too.
But maybe that's why
He hasn't been that bad.
I don't know. Last year it was rough
Really
watching
bad.
Man
No,
U
obviously
last
he-
year.
that can't go unnoticed. He might
No, and I think that's mainly the reason why they brought Henderson back. I think they wanted to put some pressure on De Gea with Dean Henderson being a world-class keeper.
It's a great point. That is an unbelievable point, actually, because if they sell Dean, right,
No pressure.
he's gone. Once David De Gea is gone, like, or he's not good enough to start, who are you going to replace him with? Now you have Dean Henderson,
Do
who's
they still
young.
have? Do they still have?
They still have Romero. I
Yeah, they
believe.
still have Romero.
Romero.
By the way, is I would say that was the
Yeah.
second best backup goalie in the league when when Martinez was backup goalie. But I think he's now the best backup in the league.
Well, and
besides
does where's Joe Hart now?
Tottenham?
Yeah,
So
he's on
that's
loan.
a pretty good backup.
He's third string. Paulo Gazaniga
Oh,
is second
yeah.
string when
He was
injured.
okay when Lloris got injured.
Gazaniga played well.
Great.
I picked him on my fantasy team. He got me a lot of points every week.
No, I mean, Aiden and I discovered
Michael.
him in what,
We
like
discovered him in a pack.
FIFA 18, and you know, we got him in a pack, and we were like, you know, why not just try and start this guy?
He was a
great.
Premier League player, and we didn't have any Premier League goalies to link up. We tried him. He was actually good in the game, and that's how we discovered him. We
Yeah.
discovered great players in FIFA. We discovered Donny Van de Beek in
Van de Beek.
FIFA.
FIFA helps
Which,
a
by
lot.
the way, Donny Van de Beek. Let's talk about that.
So sad.
Why is he not? I mean, he
Picky.
should 100% be starting there.
He's so
I don't know why he's not. He's great. The one game that he's actually been able to play in, he scored. And what, you're just not going to do anything about that? I mean, Manchester United need the help right now to win, and they're not going to start a player who they paid a lot of money for.
Who's starting?
Fred.
Is it
Fred is in great
Fred is over
form.
him.
Oh,
Fred's
he's playing
really- yeah.
great.
I'd bench Pogba a little bit. He's not being great this year.
Okay, so I think that this comes down to kind of the same point with their goalie problem. I think Pogba has no pressure on him. And that's why he plays so well for France, because he knows, oh, they'll just bring on someone else to replace me.
Yeah.
They'll bring on Payet or they'll bring on Fekir, but they don't have that at Man U, you know, and he's frankly struggling there to do anything. I mean, he had a little injury and he's just been terrible. He's not doing anything for how much they paid for him. He needs to leave. He needs to get out.
No, but also I think not only, you don't want to bench Pogba because maybe Fernandes now taking it from him, but Pogba was the face of Manchester United and still is for a long time now. They paid a lot of money for him. Maybe Ole feels like, oh, if I bench him, like the fans are going to hate me, the board's going to hate me. And he might fear that his job is at stake. So I feel like that's why they're also not benching him, because he is the face of the team. So imagine the face of your team being a bench player now.
Yeah, but it happens. It's what Arsenal did with Ozil.
He's not even on our team anymore.
I'm saying, I mean,
I got an Ozil
every
jersey right
team
there.
does
I'm
it.
going to take it down.
You have to. Do you really?
But I think that Man U is starting to do a really good job of building off this young core that they have. Between like Greenwood, Martial, and especially more
I don't
than
know if Martial
Rashford.
is young.
He's not old.
He's like 24. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I would still consider him young. He plays like he's a young
He's not like a Greenwood, 19.
No, or Rashford.
Or
But
Rashford, 21.
let's talk about Rashford for a second. Oh my God,
He needs to stop playing well. His FIFA card is getting too OP.
Good. He's scaring me in FIFA.
Playing well, but what do you think he's doing better right now of playing soccer
Or
or
the community.
what he's doing for the community? I mean, respect to that guy. I mean, come on.
I mean, I think it's great to see that, and another player who did that in his prime and still does it now, Ozil. He does great things for the community, and he also was great on the pitch. But
well, he brought back Gunnar Soros.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gunnar Soros better be worried once Ozil's gone, because who's going to pay his wages?
Yeah, I'll pay it. I don't care.
Petitions.
I do for sure think. Let's talk about Arsenal for a second.
Oh boy.
I think Arsenal's just lacking creativity in the midfield, which is why we so badly need Pepe or Willian to like be a creator. Because like missing Ozil's killing us.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you're not
Partey's
missing
a
him.
DM.
You're just not using him.
No, they are using
Ozil?
No, Ozil. Yeah.
He's not even on our team sheet. He's not allowed to play in the Premier League.
You still don't say you're missing him because he's still on the team, but Arteta for some reason doesn't want to play him.
I know he gets a lot of hate for Ozil not being in the squad, but there is a reason why he's not in the squad, and it's not just because he doesn't like him. If he was a good player, he would use him. If he's not in the squad, then he's obviously not good enough to play at Premier League level anymore, and that's just how it is.
He went from being incredible to just getting benched. Like what? No explanation.
We saw it happen over.
Why.
You knew it was going to happen.
2 seasons? Season before last, we saw kind of in the second half, he was slowly kind of getting phased out of the team, and he lost his captaincy to I think it was Chaka got it at the time. And it just got really ugly, and he started getting really frustrated with all of our managers between Unai Emery and Wenger was his biggest supporter, and I think Wenger leaving just killed him. I think that was just the end.
I think that
we see that a lot with players too. Once
James.
Aidan, I don't want to bring this up, but Jorginho has not been the same since Sarri left. I mean, he was going to go to. I was excited. I hate them, but I was excited to see him play for Sarri again because he was so great with him, and he's just not the same. And that's the same thing that happened with Ozil.
Yeah, it's sad to see.
Real quick about Jorginho, since you guys got to talk about your teams. I'm not going to talk about Chelsea for a long time. I just want to say, Jorginho was supposed to be sold to Juventus for $60 million over the summer, and then Maurizio Sarri got fired, which jacked up that deal. He's our third best center defensive midfielder behind Kovacic and Conte. And
whoa! Switch that order up. Conte and
Not in
Kovacic.
order.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Not in order. But they're obviously both better than Jorginho at the moment. It's because Maurizio Sarri brought him in as like a package deal. We brought in Sarri while he brought in Jorginho, who I've heard of before, but it was like, why are we doing this? Turned out that first season he played with us, great. And then in comes, Conte gets injured. In comes Kovacic, and he's now playing like, prime Philip Lahm at center defensive mid.
Kovacic is great for you guys,
I mean,
honestly.
The one thing that Jorginho is good at is pens, and he's already missed a couple this year, like 2 or 3 or something. Aiden's reactions are hilarious because he's like pen, and then immediately after you're like, oh, Jorginho missed. And
actually, he's officially, according to as per Frank Lampard, he is officially not the club's penalty taker. It is now officially Timo Werner.
We saw them fight
so
in the first or in like the second game over who to
Yeah.
take the pen.
And Timo should have taken it, but that's fine.
I mean,
No,
but
Jorginho
Timo's
made
word,
it.
he's class. He's
Oh, it
class.
was the one against Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scored twice. He scored 2 penalties in that game. Werner scored 2 penalties in the Champions League last week, which was the first game where he was the official penalty taker. I think that's good that Werner is now the penalty kick taker because goalies are now starting to know. Like Jorginho's main thing is
his little hop doesn't work.
So weird.
It doesn't work anymore. The hop got the goalie to dive. Now you see goalies are stationary when he
Until
hops.
he hits it.
And then it's just then it's like normal penalties. The hop is ineffective and you get less power on it. Timo Werner just into the
We should take a second to talk about Chelsea's offense, though. I mean,
what are you gonna say about him?
I don't know.
Our
For how
signings
much
have
you
been
guys are spending, you guys should be scoring a little more. Between Ziyech,
Whoa. As much as I hate Chelsea, they're the leading goal
Ziyech,
scorers right now.
Havertz,
We have the most goals in the Premier League
Werner,
and the best goal difference, but that's not a minor.
Abraham, Mount.
Yeah, but
who
what's that
else?
doing for you?
What's
I
what?
don't know, it's just
The best goal difference and the most goals.
I mean, it's.
Seventh place.
I mean,
No,
we
what
haven't
is
lost
it?
a game
Fifth place spot.
We haven't
Fifth,
lost a
yeah.
game in six games. We're unbeaten in 6.
yeah. I don't know. I just
Our
see
defense
like
is playing well.
No,
Arsenal.
I give it up to Chelsea. They finally got a good defense.
They're setting back in. Ziyech is finally now starting normally after coming back from injury, and he's
Yeah, you
playing
guys were missing
very
him.
well. Kai Havertz, I know you don't really see it, but he's playing much better than when he first did. It was disaster when he first came in. And obviously he's got COVID.
Aiden was kind of getting convinced,
a little nervous.
I was a
Me
little
and
nervous.
Parker were getting in his head that maybe it was a bit too high for
I
his
was a little
price.
nervous. But now he's playing well. Obviously, he's got COVID. He'll be back, hopefully, for Newcastle now that we have the international break this weekend. But I think everyone's just starting to set in, and everything's going to be okay, guys. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
So.
I think that like when you see clubs like, I won't use Chelsea as an example here. I'll use Manchester City. But when you see clubs spending just ridiculous amounts of money, and then you see other clubs like Villa or what was the other club last year? I'm blanking on the name, but there was another club last year that was just like doing great. Maybe it was Burnley. Last year who was just doing great with like not so good of a team. I think it does kind of come down to managers. I think when you get this like ridiculous chemistry that Burnley showed last year, it just becomes so easy for them. It was so easy for Burnley because the way that they would just like easily move the ball, easily score, easily defend. It just came off like, they didn't have any really world-class players other than...
True. Well, they had no
Other than
world-class
who?
player. I mean, they had Jeff Hendrick, who was amazing, but now he's at Newcastle. He was going to go to AC Milan, and then he chose Newcastle.
Yeah. I think it's frustrating.
Well, I mean, speaking of world-class players, there's a player who's coming up now in the Premier League, possibly has world-class potential.
Bukayo Saka.
Diogo Jota.
Jota is
Jota,
fantastic. He's fantastic.
He's great. And
yes.
look, you know how we feel about Firmino on this podcast. We don't love him.
Firmino, but
No disrespect,
to
but we don't
Firmino,
love him.
but
Maybe he can fill in Van Dijk's spot. Who knows? But
Okay.
I'm so happy that I'm seeing Jota playing great. You know, I
Yeah.
do have his card in FIFA. You know, it's
Look at this
doing
guy.
One to
wonders
watch,
for
getting
me right now.
upgraded, you know.
Look at this guy.
But yeah, it's great to see him playing well. You know, he
Yeah.
came from Wolves, who was not a bad team, and came to arguably the biggest club in England right now, and he's playing great.
Arguably.
I wish he stayed at Wolves. I don't like.
Oh, Wolves?
Well, I actually.
I don't know how I feel about Wolves right now.
I don't like them.
I'm very, very indecisive about how I feel. They made a lot of good signings, I feel like.
Mhm. Enough.
But they're lacking.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Nelson Semedo was an incredible right back for Barcelona.
Playing right behind
Goes
Messi,
there,
he was great.
And you know, obviously it's only the first couple games for him, but you expect more after you signed him for nearly $40 million.
Yeah, what was
Listen,
that, like
I'm not-
38, something?
Yeah, around that. You know, it's not too expensive, but it's a bit expensive for Wolves.
It's a lot of money for a wing back.
For a right back,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Who's, by the way, getting older. But I'm not scared of many things, but two things I'm scared of in life: a prime Pepe slide tackle from Real Madrid, that scares me, and the right side
With or
of
without
Wolves.
the afro?
I think without.
Without?
I don't
Like
know.
when he was playing with Ramos?
when he was playing with Ramos, I had
Long
nightmares
hair
about it.
A
Ramos,
lethal
too.
duo. A
Oh,
lethal duo.
jeez.
You see,
I'll
remember
put
the
you
one
on
where
the
he
floor.
went in for a tackle, Pepe went in for a tackle and got Ramos in the stomach? They're on the same team, by the way. What are you trying to do?
Dude, I want Pepe back. He was the best to watch. He's such a
He
hot
goes to
head.
Wolves. He's Portuguese.
But Wolves is... Adama
But-
Traore needs to score.
But think about this for a second. That's what I was saying. The second thing that scares me is the pace on the right side of Wolves. You have Semedo and Adama on the right flank. I mean, that's the fastest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Adama's good.
He's just fast and strong.
That's it. That's all he has. I mean, the best
shooting.
part about him,
Shooting.
is get the ball and give it to Jimenez. That's it.
That's how Wolves play.
Go.
That's what you gotta do.
Go.
Yeah, but
and
he
cross.
gets from one side to the other in like what 3-4 seconds. Like
He's so fast. He's
so
ridiculous.
fast.
He's
Scary.
so
and nobody
His
can
legs move like
contest him for
hamster
the
wheel.
ball. Yeah, nobody can contest him for the ball. He just pushes them off with
Well, he's
no
remember,
force.
He gets oiled up before the game.
Yeah.
The oil, oil.
Whatever
Yeah.
works, right?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I don't know how I feel about him. I really don't. And I don't know how I feel about this Portuguese score. It's
Whatever works.
I don't know. I'm really split with Wolves because last year they were very good.
Yeah.
But if Jimenez starts to do bad or gets injured, it's over for them. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that was a great conversation. We focused a bit on the Premier League, like we tend to do on this podcast. But you know what? It's okay. But as you guys know, at the end of the podcast, Aidan loves to embarrass Parker and I. But recently, since last episode, we've started doing it to Aidan a little more. So we're doing a little segment, same as last time. Guess their transfer market value. We're gonna start off with the first one, and obviously, I need to pick an AC Milan player. Frank Kessie, one of the best
That's
center
what
mids.
I
right
said.
now.
I said that. You said he's basement. Oh, how old
He's
is he?
quite good, to be fair.
I know.
He's
that's
very
why-
young,
Very
21
good.
years old.
Is he
or
really?
22. 21 or
really?
22.
Is he
He's very
tall?
good.
Is he tall? I feel like he's tall.
He's a big body, kind similar to Adama. He's got the pace, not as much, but he's got the pace, and he's a big body guy.
I'm saying 32 million.
I was gonna
Wow.
say 40.
Look, when he said 30, I got a bit excited, but no, 38.5 million.
Oh, I was close.
That's the closest.
He's
I'll ever
close. He
Okay,
was
that's
close.
not bad. Actually, okay, he's very good. He's very
get.
good. In FIFA last year, that strong link with Summerheat Zlatan. Dirty, absolutely dirty.
Oh gosh, I'm getting the next
All
one.
right.
Let's go.
Well, the next one is a player that we did talk about a bit this podcast, Bernardo Silva.
What is he? He's like
46
27?
million.
Well, how old is he? Wait. How old is he?
He's like high 20s, 26, 27.
46.
46. You're halfway there. He's 88 million.
No, he's not.
Yeah, they
88
bought him. They
million.
bought him from that Monaco side with
With Mbappe.
With Mbappe.
Falcao,
Yeah.
Dude, they made so much money
They
that
made
year.
a
They had
lot of money,
Fabinho.
yeah.
Oh my god, that team was
By the way,
so
a couple
good.
years before they had Martial
That could have been best team.
That could have been a great team. That could have been a great team. But also they were youngsters then. They weren't what they are now.
They had Ben Yedder at the time.
Funny you bring him up. Aiden,
Player?
the next player.
He's worth
Ben
100K in
Yedder.
FIFA.
Well, in FIFA, he should be worth 15, billion. But
He's so good.
I think Ben Yedder is a bit old, no? Or am I crazy?
He's not too old.
Mid-20s,
Not
no?
too old.
Is he really?
Yeah, mid to high 20s.
Okay. I'm gonna say. By the way, transfermarket.com, great website, but I hate their transfer values for
Big
players.
shout out.
Some of them are a bit off. Big ups, transfermarket.com. I think maybe 29 million.
Oh, that's so low. No,
Again, you're going way too low.
Am I really?
Aiden, he's top goal scorer, I think, in France right now.
So what?
He's a great player. 44 million.
Is it really?
He's
44?
fantastic.
Yes.
If
All right.
you ever get a chance to watch Monaco play, the way that he moves he's ridiculous.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Monaco play at all.
Amazing.
I mean, who watches that league? Unless you're watching.
They're so good.
Sometimes you watch
PSG's ridiculous.
All right.
But he's really good.
All right, our fourth player.
Yep.
A man who Aiden does not like at all. Kareem Benzema.
Wait, is he in his 30s now? Or he's like 29?
He's a bit older. But
if-
that doesn't mean anything. Zlatan, 39
Also,
years
Suarez
old.
was like
He's
5
amazing.
million. I'm gonna go high on this one. I'm gonna say
Let's see what his high is.
I think he's higher than Ben Yedder. I think he is. So I'm gonna say. 50,
Okay, I know what I'm thinking.
51.
I was gonna say
Luke,
50.
you wanna give a little?
I was gonna
50?
say 50.
You guys are way off. 27.5 million. He's
27?
old. Who's buying
Dude, he's
him
like
for 50 million?
32. Wait,
He's
I'm
got
looking
like
it up. I'm actually looking
Remember
it
that
up.
thing where you said top scorer? I mean, he was second top scorer. Take away penalties.
Yeah, but who's buying a 32-year-old for 50 mil?
Top
Guys,
scorer.
he's 32. Man,
Yeah.
he's old.
Guys, I'm having an absolute stinker here. All right, last one. I'm gonna redeem myself.
But he's
Last
on
one
a
over 10.
huge salary. No one wants to pay his salary.
Yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right, the last one. A player who Luke's team Arsenal and AC Milan were both interested in getting.
God.
Now it looks like he's going to go to a
Who
bigger
are?
club like Liverpool.
Who?
Dayot Upamecano.
Oh, he's so good. Okay, can I say my guess? Because
Yeah.
I know what Arsenal was willing to put in. Arsenal was
Well,
willing
let
to
me
put
say
in.
mine first. Let me say mine
Okay,
first.
all
Let me
right,
say mine
all right.
first. I'm gonna
Well,
say.
I think I know.
It's crazy I'm going this high. But I'm gonna say maybe not. Oh, he's so young. He's so young. 62 million.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say Arsenal was gonna put in 55, but I think he's worth maybe over 70.
Probably then.
Right in the middle of both of you. 66 million.
What did I say?
He said
62.
62.
4 off.
That was okay. No, we count those.
I think
It's a skimmer. It's
No,
a skimmer.
no,
it's a skimmer.
No, it's got to be
No,
exact.
it's a
If the
skimmer, it's a
If
skimmer.
the numbers are
Hey, what do we
exact,
say?
so it
We don't
is.
take skimmers. We don't take skimmers.
We don't take skimmers, boys.
All right, I'm 0 for 10 then. It's okay. Eco's over
Jeez.
10 on jersey numbers, I think. And then,
Oh.
guys, by the way, next podcast, if Parker's not available, which I don't think he will be, Luke will be filling in again. He will take place in Parker's Who Does He Play For? So
Oh god.
better study up on those. It's going to be players you've probably never heard of.
I only know it from FIFA.
That's on a little worried.
If they're not a gold, I don't know it.
So we'll see how you do next time. I win over 10. Eco's over 10. Parker's over 25. We'll see
Those
what
are
Luke can do.
hard.
But great first podcast from Luke Garrett. Hopefully he's back with us for some more in the future. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.